Hey everyone, welcome to my new YouTube channel. This is Dr. B-Ball here, and today I'm going to talk about what you need to know before watching Jurassic World Dominion. I'll be posting more awesome videos ranging from topics such as Godzilla as well as other new movies. So please, if you want more content, please smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a like. This channel is meant to share all of my knowledge with you. Anyways, back to the video. So I will show you one of the various trailers and short clips of the movie. Then, I will explain all the new dinosaurs and their crucial roles to this upcoming movie. Well, as we can see from this first snowy environment scene, we can actually see the return of fan favorite Owen Grady right there. And we can clearly see that he's riding with a group of Parasaurolophus. Already you can tell the effects of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom as the dinosaurs are now loose and all over the world. Here he is stroking the head of one of the Parasaurolophus. So, quick recap. The Parasaurolophus is basically a duck-billed herbivorous dinosaur with a prominent crest on top of his head. It appeared in other films of the franchise as well, such as Jurassic Park: The Lost World. And now we cut to an Apatosaurus, as well as Maisie Lockwood. She has grown up quite a bit, as the events of Fallen Kingdom had occurred 4 years prior to the events of Jurassic World Dominion. This scene is taking place along the Kingsway in Toronto, Canada. If you notice that the Apatosaurus looks very familiar, but you can't place your hand on why. This is because the Apatosaurus was the dinosaur being hunted by the infamous Indominus Rex during the events of Jurassic World. And if you remember how it went, let's just say it did not go well for the Apatosaurus in the end. And here we actually see Blue, our favorite Velociraptor, and her offspring. We see that Blue's offspring also has a blue stripe just across the body, just like Mom. This other scene shows them sprinting through the snowy woods, which could mean that some danger could be lurking there. We have seen that in the past, as Blue was almost held for auction in the events of Fallen Kingdom. I believe that this scene is set in the Sierra Nevada regions. Next we see Owen trying to calm Blue down, just like he did many times before in the previous 2 movies of the franchise. We see a brief conversation with Owen regarding Blue's safety. After all, Blue was seen as a target in the past. We now see a nice mother and child moment here. We suddenly cut to the one and only Mosasaurus, in which it is taking advantage of some Fisher's amazing catch and sneaking up to consume it for itself. This is also similar to his debut scene in the first Jurassic World. And now we see a brief glimpse of the T-Rex, aka Rexy, at a drive-in theater, doing her iconic roar that everybody loves. Now here's a scene for the ages. Alan Grant reuniting with Ellie Sattler for the first time in about 20 years. So some background information. Both of these characters appeared in the first movies of the Jurassic Park franchise, and they played an overall crucial role in restoring balance when the park went into complete chaos. Next, we see an epic scene with the Parasaurolophus group and a lone horse that comes into view. And the Therizinosaurus. This creature has been teased for a few months now, and is most famous for its incredibly sharp claws. It's likely that the Therizinosaurus will get some decent screen time, as so many fans have been long awaiting for the debut of this unique dinosaur. The Therizinosaurus is a unique theropod. The reason being that the theropod group consists of names like Tyrannosaurus Rex, Allosaurus, Carnotaurus, and Giganotosaurus. But unlike them, Therizinosaurus is an herbivore, but it also wields enormous sharp claws. A quick glimpse of Ian Malcolm, a classic figure in the franchise. Ian was the famous user of chaos theory, and being a mathematician, he predicted that the entire park would fall apart, and we all know how that ended. But he also was a constant figure throughout the franchise, even now, advising on what to do about the recent event of the dinosaurs being released into the world. Now we see a scene with a recombination of some dinosaurs' DNA. This is probably for some new dinosaur edition, as there will be a company in the movie named Biosyn that will actually be the evildoers here. To sum it up, Biosyn is essentially a counterpart to InGen of the previous movies. Its purpose is to try to steal ideas from other scientists and use those ideas for their own benefit. It is considered and widely believed that Biosin may be the creator and developer of all these new dinosaurs, the most notable being the Giganotosaurus. Here we see Claire Deering being chased by a vicious raptor. However, when looking closely at the skin pattern and behavior of it, it is actually an Atrociraptor, not a Velociraptor as one would think. So an Atrociraptor, one of the new additions to this franchise, has a name meaning savage robber. It uses more of a brutal style to hunt compared to the Velociraptor, and we definitely see that behavior in this scene. In this shot we see what appeared to be a stadium, but now it's overrun by nature. And here we see the full details of another new dinosaur, the Pyro Raptor. It has red and grayish feathers along its back and sides as well as the legs. There is also a red feathery crest on its head. As the name says, it is also in the raptor family. Here it's coming into a straight-on sprint towards Claire and Owen. Other trailer footage also shows its ability to actually swim under the water. In this scene, Ellie Sattler is looking at a huge flock of flying dinosaurs. They could be Dimorphodons or Archaeopteryx judging by their size, but I'm not really sure about this one. But whatever creatures they are downright chasing the children as the kids practically run for their lives. Here, Owen briefly tells Claire that he always comes back. He has said this before in the previous movies as well. This is taking place in downtown Italy, as you can see from the flag. A group of Atrociraptors are chasing Owen, and as he makes a turn, we can see the Allosaurus and the Carnotaurus. If you didn't know, Allosaurus was another carnivorous dinosaur that briefly appeared in Fallen Kingdom. We also see a crest-like feature above its eye. However, we now see that its design has improved drastically to be more like Allosaurus Gen 2 from the mobile game Jurassic World Alive. Second is Carnotaurus. It has a more reddish-brown skin tone and a more stubby jaw. The most noticeable feature is the two horns sticking out from both sides of the head. It has appeared numerous times in the franchise, such as Fallen Kingdom and the Netflix series Camp Cretaceous. Here we see the characters in a helicopter, which is soon attacked by Questacottless and then a Pteranodon. First, let's start off with the Pteranodon, since it's a more popular creature. It is a pterosaur, meaning that its primary location is in the air. It also has a sharp, elongated beak that is used for spearing prey or simply picking them up. It appeared in almost every Jurassic Park and Jurassic World movie. Second, the Questacottless is a much larger pterosaur. It has a huge blue crest on its beak, and the proportions are enormous. It is almost the size of the entire plane. This is his first debut movie in the franchise. Next, we see Nazutoceratops knocking over one of the vehicles. You can tell the difference between Nazutoceratops and Triceratops by looking at its horns. Nazutoceratops is an herbivorous ceratopsian, just like Triceratops, but it has a distinct color pattern on its head and back. However, the best way to distinguish it is by looking at the horns. While Triceratops has a more direct and straighter horn, Nazutoceratops has a curved horn that points from the sides. Just like many other dinosaurs, this is Nazutoceratops' first appearance in the movie franchise. Here we see Blue's offspring named Beta getting trapped into going for what appears to be a dead fox. Blue reacts in shock, and this scene shows that my earlier theory was correct. There was in fact a threat in which Blue and Beta were both in danger. In this scene, Maisie Lockwood is in a metal cage, just as Giganotosaurus clamps his jaws on it. Giganotosaurus has a bite force of 6,800 psi, which is almost 2 times the bite force of a crocodile, so Maisie is fortunate to be within the safety of the cage. In addition, we can see the sheer size of just the jaws of the Giganotosaurus. It could easily swallow her whole. We see Claire come face to face with the Dilophosaurus. This looks eerily similar to the scene between another Dilophosaurus and Dennis Nedry, who was a sly character who met his grave end with this exact encounter. However, it is likely that Claire will be able to escape this encounter and come out of it alive. Finally, we have a scene where all the characters are in a forest, and Ian Malcolm comments, "Why do they always have to go bigger?" He is responding to the fact that Giganotosaurus is even larger than the Spinosaurus, which in turn was larger than the previously seen T-Rex. Basically, the T-Rex was 17 feet tall, The Spinosaurus was 18 feet tall, and the Giganotosaurus they now see is 23 feet tall. Previously, Alan Grant also said, "Don't move," which gives a nod to the original Jurassic Park movie, where he said the exact same line. So now, we have covered the basics of the Apatosaurus, Parasaurolophus, Theriosinosaurus, Atrociraptor, Pyro Raptor, Allosaurus, Carnotaurus, Tyrannosaurus, Questacottless, Ceratops, Blue the Velociraptor, and Dilophosaurus. Now, I'll go into the basics of the Tyrannosaurus Rex, Ankylosaurus, Baryonyx, Brachiosaurus, Compsognathus, Dimorphodon, Dimetrodon, Gallimimus, Giganotosaurus, Mosasaurus, Sinoceratops, Stegosaurus, Triceratops, and Stygimoloch. The Tyrannosaurus Rex has the strongest bite force out of all these dinosaurs, having a bite force of 8,000 psi. That is 2 times the bite force of a shark. It is the most popular dinosaur and has lived up to its name, Tyrant King. Standing 17 feet tall, it is a force to be reckoned with. Not much else needs to be said about T-Rex since everyone, even non-dinosaur fans, know what this creature is capable of. T-Rex will probably have a huge role in taking down the larger Giganotosaurus in the end. The Ankylosaurus is a heavily armored dinosaur, also herbivorous. In fact, it was covered from head to tail in osteoderms, which are basically bones that grow in the skin. It also wielded a dangerous weapon, a bony club at the end of its tail. This was used for protection against any predators that tried to attack it. The Ankylosaurus appeared multiple times throughout the franchise, but it is most famous for its encounter against the Indominus Rex hybrid in the first Jurassic World. The Baryonyx is a carnivorous dinosaur that appeared in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. It is a very good swimmer, almost as agile in water as on land. Since it is only about 8.5 feet tall, it doesn't really focus on preying on larger dinosaurs. Instead, its primary diet consists of fish and baby dinosaurs. However, the Baryonyx has incredibly long claws, which is the root of its name, Heavy Claw. Baryonyx might have a relatively medium influence on this movie, as the stars will be dinosaurs like T-Rex, Therizinosaurus, and Giganotosaurus. The Brachiosaurus is a long-necked sauropod that has adapted to reach its neck for extremely tall plants. It is herbivorous and stands at 40 feet tall. It is 70 feet long from head to tail. It has appeared many times and has been present ever since the first movie of the franchise. The Brachiosaurus is sometimes depicted as a symbol of peace, as it was always a peaceful dinosaur. The Compsognathus, or Compy for short, is a really small creature, even when compared to a young child. It is known for being in packs and groups, as a huge group of them can take someone's life. This is because all of them can pounce on a human being at different locations, and each one can rip out a small piece of the flesh. Compies were most known for being in the movie Jurassic Park, The Lost World. The Dimorphodon is another flying reptile that appeared in Jurassic World. It has a more dinosaur-like head compared to other pterosaurs, and it flies in large groups. This makes them much more dangerous. It is about 30 feet tall and 6 feet long, so even one might be a problem. Dimorphodon may be a factor in the safety of the children in the movie, as one of the scenes in the trailer may have included them. The Dimetrodon is unique due to the fact that it's the only creature here that historically was present in the Permian time period, before the time of the dinosaurs. It has a distinct sail on its back, and experts believe that this might be a way to cool off. It will be interesting to see what the movie's depiction of this creature will be. The Dimetrodon may have a few minutes of screen time, but don't expect it to be present throughout the entire movie. The Gallimimus is a slender omnivorous dinosaur that is about 9 feet tall. It can reach speeds of up to 34 miles per hour, making it one of the fastest dinosaurs. They are known for their destructive stampedes, so if a person is caught in one, they better be extremely cautious. Gallimimus might have a few minutes in screen time and may serve the purpose of being a background creature. The Giganotosaurus is the biggest carnivorous dinosaur we have so far. It does not have the strong bite force of the Tyrannosaurus Rex, but it makes up for that in its size and versatility. We saw that in action during the prologue, where it used those advantages to kill the T-Rex. It has a visible crest above its eye, similar to Allosaurus, and it also has a narrower and longer jaw compared to the Rex. We might see the death of this deadly creature being due to the T-Rex and possibly the Therizinosaurus' sharp claws. However, know that this is just a theory and it might not actually happen. The Mosasaurus is the only aquatic creature that we know of in this franchise so far. Being 56 feet long, it is a giant compared to anything in the ocean. In fact, it easily consumes sharks on a daily basis. This habit has continued, even after it escaped into the ocean. Mosasaurus will definitely play a big role, as it is the main creature that is present in the ocean. The Sinoceratops is another ceratopsian, related to both the Triceratops and Nazutoceratops mentioned before. But unlike them, its bony shield at the back of its head has many horns protruding from it. This adds to the one horn at its nose region, as well as the several horns surrounding its entire face. Sinoceratops will likely play the same role as Nazutoceratops, being evolved in some aspects but not part of the rest. The Stegosaurus is an herbivorous dinosaur that has two distinguishable features. The first is the two rows of bony plates that line its entire back. This is thought to have served the purpose of heat regulation of Stegosaurus. The second part is two pairs of sharp tail spikes at the tip of his tail. Like the bony clubid Allosaurus, the Stegosaurus uses these spikes as protection against predators and potential threats. The Stegosaurus will probably play a relatively decent role, as it could be involved in a few human attacks and some dinosaur battles as well. The Triceratops is the most famous ceratopsian. It has 3 horns, one medium-sized horn above the nose, and 2 large horns protruding from its eyebrow region. It has made a few appearances before as well. However, the Triceratops might take a step back in its role and be more of a supporting cast. The Therizinosaurus will likely take the place of its role. However, it is probable that the Triceratops will have around 5 to 10 minutes of screen time. The Stygimoloch is basically a smaller version of the well-known Pachycephalosaurus. It has a bony dome on top of its skull, and uses that for colliding against anything it wants. This includes other dinosaurs and even walls. It feeds on deep roots of trees, and the force of the slamming of the bony dome is enough to kill a human being. Stygimoloch might make a few appearances throughout the movie, and will play a similar role to the Sinoceratops. And that wraps up my video on what you need to know before watching Jurassic World Dominion. I hope you all enjoyed my video, and as always, please like, subscribe, and give it a thumbs up if you liked it. This is Dr. B-Ball, signing off.